All right, Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson, but it's crazy. I had another video. Lord willing, I can find this video tomorrow because I'm on my other phone that I wanted to go into. Lord will, I can find it. But I've been trying to find this video for 30 minutes and cannot find it. But I found this other video that I want to get into of this Edomite looking woman that's going to be talking about the downfall of Babylon the Great America. This place is finished. Watching the fall of the kingdom. And, that's why you're seeing all these things happen. And, by us being oppressed and us having to suffer this place, it can be vexation of spirit, But you have to endure, this madness and keep your integrity and make sure you stay right with Yahweh Ba and Shem Yahweh Shah. And you have to mentally leave the world behind. We're not invested in this world anymore. You do what you got to do, right? You take care of your business, as you should, but we're not overly invested inside of America because this place is finished. We have a greater existence coming besides this fleshly realm that we know. And that's why you have to build yourself up through the spirit. You can't just go off what you see in front of you. That's a snare. That's the ways of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So I'm gonna play this video. Then I'm gonna get into, some precepts just to strengthen the brothers, because I know brothers are catching hell in different ways. A lot of this is mental attacks, spiritual attacks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers feel like they're not worthy, and we, at the end of the day, we are just ratchet men. At the end of the day, the Lord just saw fit for us to wake up, and it's amazing to see this. And the Lord is, with us in our low state that we find ourselves in. So just try to, pick yourself up, bro. Keep pushing. And we're almost about here, so I'm going to play this video.
America needed to implode from the inside because Lord knows there is no one outside of us that will make that shit happen. We had to do it to ourselves. This country has never been good. That was all a lie. It was all propaganda. This country was built on the foundations of racism, genocide, patriarchal systems, and one of the most exploitive economic systems that humans have ever seen in all of our history, and that is capitalism.
Because capitalism, is you capitalizing off somebody else. Other people have to suffer for you to capitalize on them. That's what the capitalism is. That's why the so-called white man, see, this devil is, he's on a whole nother different kind of wickedness, because to steal all this land, to steal the resources, and this devil, he's the wicked. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a good guy and you have to have a bad guy. That's the way Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah set it up. But Esau Edom, the so-called white man that go by these different pseudo names like white and Europeans and Australians, the Canadians, the British, so on and so forth, right? They are fulfilling a lot by being the wicked. There's nothing they can do. And a lot of you jakes are bugged out in the mind when you say that Edomites can be saved. And you jakes got you got a Stockholm syndrome for trying to save your enemies, but your enemies don't give a damn about you. That's how you know how people are sick spiritually. Let's get more into this video.
Foundations are bad. And this is what resulted from that. It's built into every single facet of our lives. It's built into our education system, our criminal justice system, our health care, our laws, our economy, everything that constitutes a daily part of our existence. They have the ingredients for the roots with which this country came from. And there is no making that better. It's like baking a cake with regular flour and then wanting to make it a gluten-free cake. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, America was built on bloodshed, rape, robbery, lies, treachery, everything bad. They really are the black people. How about that one? Because when you go into the true definition of black, that applies to the Edomites. That means wicked, ugly, sinister, evil. But this devil play like he's a savior. You know what I'm saying? I never saw anything like this. This is crazy. Let me let her cook some more.
You can't do that. So you scrap the whole cake and you bake a new one with gluten-free flour. It's like cleaning out an infectious wound. If you don't get every last bit of the bad bacteria, it will get reinfected. A tumor, if you don't scrape out every single last cancerous cell, the tumor will regrow. And that is the reason why we keep seeing this shit popping up every single generation. We are fighting the same fucking fights over and over because we have never completely cleaned out the racist, patriarchal, capitalist, genocidal roots that are our foundations in this country.
Yeah. So I was watching this video of this Jake. He was interviewing people out in the streets, and he was asking them, should which Juneteenth is some folly, but just to see the mentality of these people, he was asking Edomites, do you think Juneteenth should be a national holiday? And most of them said no. And they said, he asked them, what about the 4th of July? And all of them said, yeah. But hold up, if you go and study the history of the 4th of July, to go to show you how devilish these people is, our people were still in slavery. In July 4th, 1776, which that was really the setting up of the Illuminati, right? That's a whole nother rabbit hole. It wasn't what you was taught. But anyway, our people didn't get emancipated and they never got freed. The word emancipated means transfer of property. So you never was set free, but they just play that game. So that was 1776, almost damn near with 1865. That's almost 100 years later, give or take, And you Jakes would sit there and celebrate that, and the Edomites were proud, saying that you should celebrate that and not celebrate Juneteenth, which we don't give a damn about none of this folly. But I'm just showing you the hypocrisy and the devilish mindset of the Edomites. Right, so I'm kind of pissed off because I couldn't find the other video, because the other video is really what I wanted to go into. But let's keep cooking. 1 second.
It has to. And the shitty part about it is how much collateral damage there will be in the process in terms of the people who are harmed by this. But every single one of us is now paying the price for the evil, oppressive systems that our ancestors built this country on. That is their legacy. And so it is our responsibility.
And she told nothing but the truth, and that's a big factor of your average person, especially the Edomites in America. And that's why they cling on to so-called white Jesus, because so-called white Jesus is nothing but a facade. It's a lie. It's a deception. But the average so-called white person is going to hold on to that because that's the representation of so-called white supremacy. And they can know that what we saying is the truth, but they not going to listen. Now I'm getting pissed off. Right? So this lesson kind of went somewhere else. So let's get into the script, some scriptures. I didn't want to, let's go here. And that's why, going to day, things we have to do is vexation of spirit when you think about it. And until the kingdom of heaven is set up, it's all vanity and vexation of spirit. We need a better existence. We need to get out of these contaminated bodies. We're getting poison on every level. We drink water out of plastic bottles that have forever chemicals in them. Think about that for a minute. And they market most of their products in plastic material that is cancerous, that's making us sick, right? They spraying stuff in the food, you know what I'm saying, in the atmosphere. I ain't gonna say too much, but you get what I'm saying. They poison the minds of our people with the music, with the television, pushing the more agenda on every single mainstream show for the most. They want to turn you out. And it's to dull your spiritual senses so you can be fully contaminated with wickedness, man. We want to get the hell up out of here. A lot of you Jakes, you want to stay here. It says the phrase, all this vanity and vexation of spirit. That's why usually brothers ain't we have our moments, but it ain't we ain't cheesing ear to ear. We have our moments and we keep it pushing. Most of this is we got a hardcore spirit because we know how things should be, but we see how things are being done. And it's a great vexation. It says it's in the book of Ecclesiastes 1 and 14 in the Bible. It says where it is used to express the author's conclusion that all worldly pursuits are ultimately meaningless, and frustrating. It is at the end of the day, Jake, that have sold out to this system, they don't get the latter end. They don't understand that there's going to be an end to this, and they're going to have to be held accountable for that. We have contemplated that through wisdom. We know that it's going to be a latter end to the things that we do here. So it's in your best interest to do what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah asks you to do to the best of your abilities. It says vanity. This refers to the idea that worldly things are empty, pointless, and ultimately without lasting substance. Yeah, this world is temporal. The world to come is eternal. But our people find no pleasure, they find no value into the spiritual matters. They so fixated on the folly of this place. You Jake's outside the truth, you covet paper that's not even worth anything. I could see if it was gold and silver. That's real money. But this is folly. It says the author argues that the rewards of worldly labor, success, and pleasure are temporary and do not provide true fulfillment. A lot of these jakes that sell out to the industry, they say that I feel empty. I didn't think it was gonna be this way, right? And a lot of them, delete themselves. A lot of them turn to substance abuse because they're trying to numb that pain. You have to have integrity on this side. And if you got to suffer in poverty, whatever you must do, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm not necessarily saying suffer in poverty because you got to make something happen for yourself, but you get what I'm saying. We wasn't going to be rich men in this world. It says vexation of spirit. The phrase describes the emotional and psychological toll of these pursuits, right? And yeah, you got, men that labor and, it comes to naught. It's not eternal. Build your foundation and your riches in the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. That's your spiritual banking account. It says Isaiah 11 and 2, and the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, get the Lord name right. Get it right. Shall rest upon him the spirit of wisdom and understanding. That's what it's all about on this side, having understanding. If you don't understand something, you are helpless. Say you're trying to do something, right, in the physical sense in this world. Say you got on a job and you don't know how to do it, or you don't know how to do something that you need to do that's important. Like, say you got a plumbing issue, water leaking everywhere, you don't know how to cut the water off, right? You're helpless, and that could lead to a disaster. So everything in this life is about wisdom and understanding. But you've been taught not to value that. The spirit of the counsel and the might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. You feel the Lord because he can jack you up. And many other things as well. Isaiah 11 and 3. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. So let's keep going. Salakia. It says Ecclesiastes 7 and 7, it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. And this word mad goes to, make you go crazy. And you can actually flip it to being, we actually upset as well. But when you go into the word, it's really talking about, bug your mind out, because we know how things should be. We know what's going on. We can give you the breakdown of everything that's going on in this world, but yet we still have to suffer this madness. We still have to go through the motions. I was thinking about that early in the spirit. I said, we're just going through the motions right now. We have mentally pretty much checked out of this world, and we're spiritually invested in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Right? Like I said, you got to do what you got to do, but, we only go so far. It says in a gift, when you go in this word gift, it means bribe, to sell out, destroy the heart, which means the mind. So, look, it is what it is. We're praying to get the hell up out of here soon. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak, Kodash. Shalom.